Well, hi everyone. We're back for another fun conversation as part of our Vallarta Reel series. And this afternoon I'm sitting up in the beautiful Arts District in Puerto Vallarta with Allison Nevins.
Hello and
Thank
hola.
you so much for chatting with me. I think that you guys are going to be super interested in Allison's story. She's the archetypal person that ends up moving to Mexico and Puerto Vallarta. I think overwhelmingly, people that end up settling here are folks with their own businesses and who have an entrepreneurial history that gives them some adventurousness, right? And probably flexibility in their work, right?
Well, certainly. And if you want to work here, you kind of have to be.
You have to, yeah. So explain a little bit about your business and how it does allow you to be working from wherever.
Well, I figured out, thankfully, years ago when we were living in Mérida, Yucatan, that I love all kinds of Mexican party, fiesta decor, and luckily with the kind of economy we're in, especially these days, more and more people are buying online. And I realized that if I ever wanted to move back to Mexico, while still selling my items, that I should really just ship it all to Amazon. And so I sell, and they store all of my items. I basically buy from artists here, and I send there, and then they send it to all my customers.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I mean, I could still be in Mérida, or I could be here in Puerto Vallarta, or I could be back in Austin when I got the idea for this business anyway. So it doesn't matter.
So this is really a classic example of an online business, totally digitized. It gives you absolute geographical flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah, super fascinating. So we could totally dig into that. But I think that people would be very interested to know, what if any challenges had you noticed going through this last 30 days, where literally you're quarantined? How has that impacted you on the business side?
On the business side, it's been interesting because I sell party decor, and literally nobody in the world is allowed to have a party. You know, it's just there are a couple of places we've noticed we're just this week starting to see some in England. I've noticed especially. We sell all over Europe, but for whatever reason, people in England are buying, not the French yet, not the Italians yet, but. And then we had a little bit of a Cinco de Mayo burst in the United States this past weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Although normally, on a normal year, Cinco de Mayo that's my raging holiday, and then it's Day of the Dead. So it did kind of stink to have like 5 sales.
Terrible time.
Slow tear down the cheek. But people are in worse situations than me. Like at least Amazon isn't charging me to keep my stuff there while it's not selling. Right. They waive their fees for sellers. So I can't complain.
Yeah. This is great intel for anyone that has e-commerce platform, and especially those that do the online fulfillment. As a business owner, what have you learned, or what call-outs would you advise to other owners in terms of getting their businesses more digital, or overcoming a challenge like this should it happen again?
I feel like there are like 3 or 4 questions wrapped into one very good question.
Key learnings,
right?
right? So learnings and advice for others.
The truth is, I've taken this time personally to learn a lot more about Instagram and how to market my business so that when people are ready to start having parties, and they will start having parties, hopefully they're going to think of me. And I've rolled into some other tools that I found are really inexpensive that will help me better manage, like really kind of like crunch down on data that I should have been paying attention to the whole time. I was just really busy having fun.
That's right. Having parties.
Exactly. And since my focus had to shift, I was like, I might as well learn some of the things I probably should have known all along and just never bothered to.
Yeah, you're so right.
And it's one of those things where I have a lot of friends who, because I have a bit of a retail background, and they have completely shut the shop down, and they've asked me to help them market their products because they're like, I had to bring my physical merchandise back to my house, and I'd like to sell it because I have to have an income.
You're sitting on stock, which is not cash flowing.
Yeah, the rent, most of them haven't had an issue with rent, thankfully, but but they're like, yeah, I've got thousands of dollars laying in my living room and I should be doing it. How do I sell my stuff from my house? So I've been helping out a lot of my buddies in that
Oh,
way.
that's great. So you're right. There's a lot in that question, and there were a lot of call-outs. I think number one is that if you're not on social media at this point and deeply immersed in those different platforms that you should be. Number two is take this time for learning.
Yes.
And maybe ramping up some skills, taking some classes or online tutorials.
And learning anything digital or technology-wise
That's
is
right.
daunting, and I hate it, and that's why I put it off for so long.
Right, but now we have this opportunity.
Right.
And thinking about, maybe new ways to sell that you were putting off before.
Absolutely.
Now they become suddenly immediate.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I think people don't really think that Pinterest has become an excellent way, especially in these last 30 to 45 days
Yeah.
of getting your
Other
products
good
out, because
tips.
people are
Yes.
scrolling through it, and it's free. Instagram, obviously. Facebook, it depends on how old and who you want to reach, but there are
Right.
a lot of free ways to.
More targeted.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
if you're sitting on something that you normally expect somebody to walk into a building and buy from you, there are ways to market it
Physical
and
space.
keep
No.
your little money flow going.
Yeah, that's
Well,
very
this is
true.
going on.
And yesterday we were chatting about specifically with Facebook, penetrating some of the Facebook groups so you can do more targeting if your business is regional to certain areas, or if it's more subject matter or market driven, as party supplies would be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's another great way to layer in the opportunities with
Yeah.
Facebook.
We were talking about there are a lot of groups of Mexicans that live in all these different countries. Like we have our expat Facebook groups, they have the same over there.
Sure.
And I really should be taking the time to drill down
maybe
into
looking for
that.
party supplies.
There
like
you
those
go.
themes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots of key learnings at this point. There's lots of things that I think we're suddenly seeing the importance of, even though they may have been business and marketing discussions for quite some time.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is just so obvious when I'm sitting here talking to you is the idea of a virtual workforce. So obviously Allison is here during this time, but you have a whole business and you have a whole back end.
Yeah.
Where are the rest of your team members sitting, and how do you communicate with anyone else that's working on your team?
Yeah, I mean, I have my team of artists and I have my team of people that help me get my products to different borders in different countries. And
Logistics.
we figured all that out before this happened, and now especially, I'm sure, some of them have actually reached out like, we need work. And I'm like, nobody's buying party supplies. But
Right.
maybe let's just get things ramped up for Day of the Dead and just make me some more of those fun little Dia de Muertos things so that I'll be
Right.
prepared when hopefully at the end of October people are ready.
Yes.
Things like that. Just trying to.
Well, and that's something that other business owners have actually mentioned in our conversations together. I think if you want to check out the other vid with Christian Rios, the
He
event
was really
planner,
good. I was really
right?
glad to
So
watch
he
that.
was talking about protecting his inner circle and
Yeah.
keeping his employees busy.
Exactly.
And then as a second ring,
Yeah.
keeping his suppliers occupied with things that could be maintenance, or maybe building some more backstock or inventory
Yeah.
that you might need. And then outside of that, people
Yeah.
in that friends and family circle that might need
Yeah.
income at this point, and you could give
Because
them
I met my artists
project.
and their families, and I
Right.
can't have them not working. I can't have them
Yeah.
have them starving to death. But that just
Yeah.
isn't going to work for my business in the long run. Plus, it's just kind
right.
to help them out if I can. And
Yeah, it's clear your relationships are very personal.
it's
So
it's
you're
very
working with
personal.
artisans and families.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you spotted any products or colorful crafts here in Puerto Vallarta that have caught your eye?
People are really dazzling me with the masks. The people are like Erica Marie has started making a beautiful
yeah,
line of all these.
Mask innovation is
Yeah,
like a thing now.
What she's calling it something brilliant, like expressing yourself without exposing yourself, which is brilliant.
Genius tagline.
Genius
Yeah,
tagline.
so cute.
But
So
pri-
taking advantage of
Yeah,
the market,
exactly,
right.
exactly. But something that I've always loved that I never see anywhere else in Mexico are in Puerto Vallarta. It seems like every gift shop you can see what looks like cut up license plates from all different places
Oh,
to
right.
spell out funny
The
phrases.
customization, the names,
The
right.
customization, like hilarious things, like it's beer 30, or it's
Right.
5 o'clock somewhere. And I'm like, I've lived all over Mexico, and I've
haven't
never seen
seen
those
that.
anywhere else except for here.
Ooh.
I love them.
So if Allison doesn't add that to her line first, there's another business
An
opportunity,
opportunity.
right? We're just
Yeah.
we're just spilling it out today. We're just
giving
offering
it
so
away.
much tip. Yeah,
Giving it
so
away.
many tips. That's great. Yeah. So you're staying in PV now for how long?
Till the middle of September. We were only going to be here for like beginning of March through mid-June, but I just don't see things improving anywhere else. We were going to go to Mexico City. I really worry that might be a big hot spot, and so we're like, let's just keep it chill here. I mean, it's a beautiful, comfortable place,
Yeah.
and frankly, it's less expensive than Mexico City. So we know what we're dealing with here.
So for reasons of mobility and, you know, your business is really digital and virtual, you have the option of being almost anywhere. And I guess, you know, population density and this amazing climate.
You can't beat this.
Why not, right?
I mean, seriously.
Right. So for anyone who's watching this and thinking that, you know, you must, you know, be home or stay away from Mexico until all of this is over, I mean, this is clearly an example of someone who's here and able to run her business. You're one of a small, you know, you're a small group of people who chose to stay through all of this, but demonstrating that it's really possible. It's been very peaceful and lovely. And,
we've gotten to know our neighbors.
Yeah, we've met new
I mean,
people. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really bonding. You mentioned helping your craft people and your vendors. Have you been able to participate in any community outreach here in PV?
Absolutely. I'm a huge dog lover, and I feel like every day I see a new like ask for, you know, help us with, you know, this rescue group here, that rescue group
That's
there.
true,
A lot of money going out the door that way, virtually out my door for that, but also the Francie opened up like a Vallarta food bank. I didn't realize. I guess there had not been one.
Right, from one of our favorite restaurants, Bonita Kitchen.
Bonita Kitchen, and then so we're monthly, I guess, donators or what have you. Yeah.
They're doing an incredible job.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I can't believe there wasn't really one here before. It just took something like this to realize this is something we should be doing for our community.
Well,
anyway.
again, another great point and a tip that we can all be learning from this whole experience is it's revealing opportunities in business.
Absolutely.
It's revealing needs in community, and it's creating new markets for things that weren't there before.
I agree.
So there is so much that we can be learning from this time as we're maybe taking a little pause. And I think Allison's story is absolutely fascinating, and just one more way that we're telling the stories and keeping Vallarta real. So thank you, Allison, for your wisdom. Thank you for chatting with us.